me colé y en tu fiesta me canté.
Stop mi hada, estrella invitada.
¿Dónde está nuestro error sin solución?
Dzień dobry, dzień dobry, dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
I'm here, we are back. I'm ready to show you more about my culture, my Spanish culture. So last week I introduced you to iconic songs in the 80s in Spain. I'm dying to show you more. I'm excited because I think foreign people who are not Spanish, have a wrong idea of what Spanish music sounds like. They think it's flamenco. Some people think it's just la Macarena.
Cuerpo alegre.
Some people think it's just ACDG. But no, actually this is the authentic Spanish music that we listened to back then. So going back to the 80s, the first thing I'm gonna listen to is Hombres G, Venecia. It's extremely famous in Spain from 1985, a pop rock song. This makes me think of summer. This song, Venecia, was meant to be a joke song because they were laughing at the hits, the Italian hits of the summer in the 80s, that they were all Italian music. And this is actually real. In Spain we have such an influence of Italian music. We had Rafaela Carrà. This was a B-side song, but then people on the radio started playing it all over and it became a viral hit, the song, with many Italian words. And some information, this album was mixed and recorded in 9 days. And it was during a snowfall that happened in Madrid in January of 1985. The record company didn't want to spend a lot, so they had to do it very quickly in 9 days. Okay, but is it all about up-tempo music in Spain? Don't you have ballads? Yes, actually the most famous song from the 80s, it's a waltz. Really? A waltz? Yes, a waltz. It's a waltz. Do you remember Mecano from the last video? So they have this massive hit, Hijo de la Luna from 1986.
Tonto el que no entienda. Cuenta una leyenda. Una gitana conjuró a la luna hasta el amanecer. Llorando pedía al llegar el día de esposar un calé. Hola, para no estar sola, poco le iba a querer. Luna quiere ser madre y no encuentras querer que te haga.
It's beautiful.
Hijo de la luna.
Oh, this is amazing. I must, yeah, this is a waltz. It's a waltz, you see? You heard it? It was a waltz. So I must admit it's not just one of the best Spanish songs ever, but one of the best songs ever. And the most interesting fact of the song is not even the music, it's the lyrics, because the story is amazing. Okay, the song is a tragic story of a gypsy woman who happens to fall in love with another gypsy guy who is not from the same ethnic group. So he's a Calais and they cannot get married because they come from different ethnical backgrounds. And she's crying and crying. She's asking the moon to marry the guy. And if the moon gets her to marry the guy, she will give her in exchange her first child. And plot twist, when she gives birth, the boy turns out to be an albino guy. His skin is completely white And this is the end of the story. I don't want to spoil it. If you want to know more about the story of the lyrics, you have to listen to the song, translate the song, you'll see what happens. Let's try something different that sounds very, very Spanish. It's the typical pop rock sound from the north of Spain, from País Vasco. Basque country has its typical sound. And the most famous band that has this sound is Duncan Dhu. 1987, En Algún Lugar. What is that? Some special effects. Now, this song is a massive hit in Spain. And it's a contradiction because it's the album the band likes the least. The main vocalist of the band confesses that it's totally wrong in terms of production, but it wasn't not only the fault of the producer, but also of the members of the band. And he even said that the album sounds bad and has aged terribly. And I think it's their most successful album. So imagine if you think that way about your own album, and this is the album that people like the most. And actually in 1992, they start at a concert with the largest audience in the history of Spanish pop, with 120,000 people. And the last one, let's have a little bit of fun. So the song is from 1989, Objetivo Birmania, los amigos de mis amigos son mis amigos. Let's just have some fun with them. Oh my god. There you have everything from the late 80s. You have aerobics, you have Bananarama. It sounds like Bananarama to me, at least. And you have this kind of sound of Stock Aitken and Waterman from the late 80s. You have. And this group, Objetivo Birmania, had two different stages. The first one was a little bit conflictive. At the beginning, they had 4 male instrumentalists and a solo girl and 2 back singers, the Birmets. But in 1987, they had this big fight between these 2 halves of the group who wanted the name. So they wanted the name. They wanted the name Objetivo Birmania because they couldn't get along with anymore, and they wanted to dismember the band. But all of that was resolved in court. And the second stage, which is the one you're seeing right now, it became a female vocal trio, these 3 girls. They organized a casting, they selected these 3 girls, and they started singing. So they debuted in 1989 and they had this hit. Actually, this song was even a hit before it was released. It was something extremely crazy because we didn't have this sound of Stock Aitken and Waterman in Spain, so this was something completely modern for that time, yeah? What is happening there? The police or an ambulance? Let me make my video. So after that they had moderate success and finally the band disbanded. And I want to show you something. This video has been sponsored by my wonderful plant of basil. I've always been awful with plants and they always died. And this is the first plant in my life that has survived. So with this plant, I say goodbye to you. We see each other next week. Thank you very much for watching. But like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for being there. Thanks for the comments. Let me know the songs you liked from this Spanish series, and also write there the songs that I didn't mention. I will continue with the early 80s in Poland with all the suggestions that you have written to me. Adios!